Hey, government class, welcome to the Crosley Studios. We're doing a live remote here right now outside in my backyard, Studio BY, and we're going to go over some things about how a bill becomes a law. Now, with these videos, I'm going to try to keep it to about 15 to 20 minutes. You know me. Chances are it's going to go a little bit over. All right. If I got a little shadow here, I've got a big tree in my backyard or a neighbor's backyard, kind of blocking the sunlight. But hey, we're outside. It's the first time we've had sun in a while. Okay, now we just got done talking about Congress, House of Representatives, Senate, 435 in the House, 100 in the Senate, so a total of 535. Now we're going to put them to work. Okay, they just don't go there and sorry if I'm putting the papers in front of my face. They just don't go there and sit and do nothing. Their job is to make bills, pass laws. And it's an interaction with the president. All right. So, first off, a bill. What is a bill? It's an idea for a law. Oh, real quick. I'm going to suggest I've uploaded the PowerPoint for this section. Kind of split your screen if you're watching this on a computer or a laptop, and you can kind of follow along with the notes as I go through them. All right. Going to be real quick. So, a bill is an idea for a law. And again, they move quickly or slowly depending on what they do. Popular bills are going to move quickly. Now, the year is 2020. It's April 2nd. And you may have heard about that stimulus bill. That moved pretty quickly because it was popular. All right? Now, a bill can die, meaning it never gets out of committee, doesn't pass a house. If a bill dies, it's dead. There's no resurrecting it, nothing to bring it back to life. So you've got to reintroduce it. All right? So, how do you introduce a bill? Well, depends on which house you're in, and that's lowercase h. If you're in the House of Representatives, you're probably following along with the notes right now. You see that brown box? That's called the hopper. All you've got to do is drop it in that box, and it's introduced. Okay? In the Senate, it's even easier. If a senator wants to introduce a bill, he stands up, the president recognizes him, and the senator reads it in. That's it. The bill is introduced. Now, question is, who can introduce a bill? Well, the answer is any representative or senator, any member of Congress that's been elected can introduce a bill. Well, what about the president? No. The president cannot introduce a bill himself. He's got to get a representative or a senator from his party to introduce the bill for him. So there's no showing up President Trump at the time. I want to introduce this bill. No, just can't do it. All right. So, and then one other little thing to remember. If a bill is spending money, like the stimulus bill, it has to start in the House of Representatives because that's where the most money or the money committee is. All right. And that's a standing committee. You remember that from the last chapter. Now, after the bill is introduced, read into the record, some minor technical stuff, the bill is assigned to a committee where the committee studies it. Remember, we talked about that last chapter with the Congress, section 4. Okay? It goes to committee, it's studied in committee, it's amended a little bit in committee. They do research. It can even go to a subcommittee where it's going to be studied. If it's a very specific bill or has very specific needs, it might go to that subcommittee. All right? Hang on here. I'm going to clean my camera so you can see the best high definition of me. Okay. So, it goes into the committee where it's studied, it's reworked, all of that. Now, in your notes, they talk about markup. That's that editing that I talked about. It's changed. But remember, those markups, those edits, they're just suggestions. They don't become part of the bill until it gets reported out. Now, you might hear my dogs. They're blockheads. They just bust through the door. Okay? Now, one thing that you need to remember for any bill to pass, it needs what's called a simple majority. What's a simple majority? I think we may have talked about this. It's basically this. A simple majority is 50% plus one vote. Not 51%, 50% plus one vote. So in the House, you see here, 50% of 435 is 217, plus one vote is 218. Now, in the Senate, because it's 100, yeah, it kind of works out to be that way. Oh, let me raise it up here a little bit. The Senate is 51% only because it's 100. Math, math hard. But still, 50% is 50 senators plus one vote is 51. All right? Now, okay, so the bill comes out of committee. What next? Well, it gets debated on the floor. The whole House of Representatives, the whole Senate, whatever, wherever it's at. Okay? Now, let's look at the House. There's two types of way that the bill is debated in the House. One, as you're scrolling through the notes, you'll see committee on the whole. What does that mean? Well, the committee directs it, and there only needs to be 100 members of Congress there, 100 members of the House. The only thing they can do is talk about it, okay, amendments, and if an amendment, a change is suggested to the bill, it's got to be germane, and that means related to, all right? But this committee on the whole, this debate, cannot pass the bill. Remember that, cannot pass the bill. Then there's the whole floor debate. That's what the name says. The whole House of Representatives is debating the bill. All right? Now, again, we need that 50% plus one, a simple majority, to pass the bill. All right? And that's the rule in either house. All right? So, we've debated it, we've passed it in one house. And I'm jumping ahead here. Once the bill passes one house, it's got to be repeated. Wash, rinse, and repeat, like the back of your shampoo bottle. And it says wash, rinse, repeat. We've got to repeat the process. It's in the Constitution. Remember, Constitution is the rule book. If you want to find out, if you really want to find out how a bill is passed, it's in there. Okay? So we've passed the bill in the House. Now we've got to go to the Senate. And it's going to start all over again. Gets introduced, assigned to committee, yada, yada, yada. Now we got the bill out of the committee in the Senate. We do a floor debate. Now it's a lot more relaxed. In the House, we need all those rules. We limit the amount of debate time in the House because there's 435 people. How long would it take for a bill to be passed if all 435 people wanted to talk about the bill? That's why they limited, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. There's some ways around it, but it's limited. In the Senate, it's much more relaxed. Now, if you pass the bill, or as you're debating the bill, you can offer amendments from the floor, and you see that in your notes. And they don't need to be germane. They don't need to be related. See, there you go. You hear my dogs barking. Here comes the other one. Okay? And this way, the committees can also be avoided. All right? Sometimes a senator has an idea for a bill. Rather than go through the whole process of introducing, assigned to committee, he wants to see how popular it is. If it's a popular idea, it might be added to that bill. Sorry, I'm shaking the table that I'm on, which is shaking the camera. But they'll offer their idea, their bill, as an amendment, and then it can get debated. This way, again, the committee can be avoided. So let's say the bill is not popular. We talked about it last chapter, the filibuster, chapter 5, section 2. All right? It was in your notes. And that's where a senator gets up and talks 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 some more. Senator J. Strom Thurmond, from the fine senator from South Carolina, he holds the record for a filibuster of 24 hours and 18 minutes. Talked about that, all right? Now, here's the thing. You can talk about anything on a filibuster. At the end, he was reciting his great-grandmother's or his grandmother's biscuit recipe. Okay? Sometimes senators have held filibusters by reading names out of the phone book. I swear to God. I wonder what Mr. Jones had in the phone book would think about this bill. I'm willing to bet he, and they just talk. But that doesn't happen so much anymore. It happens, but there's other ways. One of the ways is they do a request for the roll. They take attendance. All right. Senator Jones, here. Senator Smith, here. And that takes time. So, again, I'm not going to talk about double tracking. We've talked about a cloture vote. 60 senators sign a petition for cloture. So then we need 3/5, 60 members, to pass this cloture amendment or cloture petition. And then each senator gets 1 hour and it's ended. Now, really, to be able to control the Senate and what flows through the Senate, you're going to need 60 votes. Right now, the Republicans have 52. It would be hard for them to stop a filibuster. So that is kind of a threat looming over any legislation or bill that's offered in the Senate. The Republican or the Democrats just have to go, well, we will just filibuster. Take that, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Okay? So to get a cloture, probably 8 or 10 Democrats would have to cross party lines to sign this bill or sign this petition. And it doesn't happen. But it's just a matter of it being there. Nuclear option, real quick, that only applies to presidential nominations. All right? To get it passed, all you need is a simple majority. That's why it's called the nuclear option. They don't like to do that. All right. So, we're ready to vote. House or Senate, either way. There's 4 ways. If you're following through with the notes, there's the voice vote. Senator Crosley, yay or nay? Yay. Senator Jones, yay or nay? Nay. Okay? Simple as that. And they mark it down. The other one is a division vote. You stand up and be counted. Okay, everybody in favor, stand up for the bill. Okay? And that's what they do. There's a teller vote. Basically, they would have a table set up, and if you passed on one side of the table, that was a yes vote. On the other side of the table, that was a no vote. Some of these things are easier because they're in there. Remember, the Senate was much smaller when we only had 18 states, 36 senators. Okay? Now, 50 states, every state gets 100. The most common is the roll call. Okay? Actually, you know what? I'm going to go back real quick. I'm going to amend the voice vote. Basically, it's all those in favor say yay, yay. All those in favor say nay. Okay? And they kind of tell by the volume. The most common way is a roll call. That's where they would call your name. Senator Crosley, yay or nay? Yay. Senator Jones, yay or nay? Nay. Okay? That's the roll call. I kind of got switched here. Now they've got their ID cards. It's all computerized. You go in, swipe, punch button, yes, no. And you can change your votes. While this voting is going on, it just doesn't, once the vote is taken, it's taken. They give you 4 hours to vote on the bill. And there's going to be senators talking with each other. Hey, Senator Jones, remember, I've got that bill coming up that we both agreed on. If you vote for this bill that's going on right now, I'll vote for your bill that you're going to be introducing later on. So that's politics. Okay? But anyways. Ooh, sunshine. All right, we're almost done. Real quick, what happens if different versions of the bill are passed? If they're minor, whatever house dealt with it the last, that version is going to control. If it's major differences, then this is where, remember we talked last section about the conference committee, or last chapter? This is where the conference committee gets involved. Now, here, they'll hammer out a compromise. Once it goes to conference committee and a compromise is made, it goes right back, right to a vote. No more committees. Vote on it, yes or no. All right. The end is in sight. I'm at 16 minutes. This is good. Now, once the final bill is passed by both houses, remember, to get to the president, it goes to both houses, and both have to pass the same bill. He only gets to choose one, he only has one bill in front of him, not two different versions and chooses. All right? Sorry. Now, it's on the president's desk. What can he do? Well, first thing, signs it. Ta-da! It's a law. Still can be declared unconstitutional, but until that point, it's a law. It's the law of the land, Article 6. Remember, Supremacy Clause? All laws passed by Congress under their powers are the supreme law of the land. Bada boom, bada bing. That's where we're at. He can veto it. Now, for him to veto it, he has to take an actual physical action to veto it. Generally. And we'll come back to that. Now, if he vetoes a bill, it can be overridden by Congress. But to override a veto, you need a 2/3 vote of each house. So that's 2/3 of the Senate and 2/3 of the House. Okay? Not 2/3 vote of Congress, because you can get all the override in one house and not the other. You need it in 2/3 of both houses. Mathematically, I think that's like 235 in the House and 66 in the Senate. All right. So what if he does nothing? He lets the bill sit on his desk and ignores it. Well, it's like what an 80-year-old man wears. Depends. If Congress is still in session, 10 days go by, not counting Sundays, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 days go by and does nothing, and Congress is still meeting on that 10th day, it's a law. Okay? Maybe the president doesn't want to sign it, but he thinks, yeah, it still could be a good bill, but I don't want to be associated with it. He'll let it sit and let it become a law that way. The other, now, okay, politics. Now, let's say the 10 days go by. And some point in those 10 days, Congress stops meeting. It's a veto. It's called a pocket veto. All right? Pocket veto. He lets it sit. Congress stops meeting for 10 days, within those 10 days. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Monday, Congress stops meeting. Boom, it's dead. All right? And again, politics plays into this, but it's veto. It's dead. It would have to be reintroduced. Excuse me. Reintroduced. Go through the whole process again. All right. So there you go. You've got how a bill becomes a law. Now, also, sometimes the president, when he vetoes a bill, he'll write a little message as to why he vetoed it. Okay. Just so you know that. All right. So you've watched the video. You've gone through the notes. You now should be getting or have gotten a Google Forms with about 15, 16 questions covering how a bill becomes a law. Review your notes. Watch the video again. You get to see my face. And I'll talk about things. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. But then, now that you're at this point, fill out the Google Forms. It's your homework. And you get a grade. All right? See you next time, guys.